Bonjour tout le monde. En faisant cette vidéo, je suis bien conscient que je mets ma propre vie en danger. En faisant cette vidéo, j'espère vous exposer une vérité que vous ne connaissiez pas encore, donc restez des nôtres jusqu'à la fin. Éphésiens 5, verset 11. Et ne participez pas aux œuvres stériles des ténèbres, mais démasquez-les plutôt. Eh bien, c'est exactement ce que je viens faire aujourd'hui. Je viens démasquer les œuvres des ténèbres. Pour la plupart des gens, quand on les introduit à l'idée que notre monde pourrait être dirigé et influencé par des sataniques pédophiles, on est souvent ridiculisé en nous traitant de conspirationnistes et de fous. Hollywood, depuis longtemps, nous conditionne avec de la préprogrammation psychologique pour accepter ce qui se passe devant nos yeux aujourd'hui. Ça fait depuis que Hollywood est en service que c'est le cas. Regardons ce qu'ils essayaient de nous dire ici.
Bring in the boys to Pleasure Island, and then he starts whispering what happens to the boys. Watch it. Ooh.
Now, Coachman, what's your proposition? How would you blokes like to make some real money? Well, and who do we have to, No, nothing like that. I'm collecting stupid little boys. Stupid little boys? You know, the disobedient ones what play hooky from school. And I takes them to Pleasure Island. And I takes them to Pleasure Island. And I takes them to Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island? But the law, suppose they... No, there's no risk. They never come back as boys.
Quand ils disent l'île du plaisir ou Pleasure Island, ça fait référence directement aux cabales pédophiles qui sont non seulement des abuseurs sexuels dans le crime organisé, mais aussi, comme nous allons voir dans cette vidéo, il y a un côté beaucoup plus sombre.
Prince Andrew, former US President Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson and magician David Copperfield, all of their names are mentioned in these previously sealed court documents related to accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The documents do include the names of dozens of Epstein's associates and those of people who were on the flight logs of Epstein's private jet known as the Lolita Express. Well, this initial release includes 40 previously undisclosed documents with about 1,000 pages of depositions and statements. And perhaps the line that really stands out the most is one about former US President Bill Clinton. An alleged victim of Jeffrey Epstein says in a deposition in 2016 that Epstein once told her, quote, Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. Now, remember that Epstein himself was found dead in his jail cell here in New York while he was awaiting trial for sex trafficking in 2019. His former girlfriend and co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, was sentenced to 20 years in jail for sex trafficking back in 2022.
Donc, nous pouvons voir que Jeffrey Epstein travaillait avec beaucoup de célébrités, des dirigeants politiques, des personnes comme Monsieur Gates, qui est présentement au front de la campagne pour nous administrer la pic-pic. Nous avons beaucoup d'évidence que notre monde est mené par des débiles, des malades mentaux, des psychopathes et encore pire, j'en passe beaucoup. Récemment, il y a eu une entrevue avec M. Gates à la télévision et c'était censé être à propos de ceci, la pic-pic, mais à vrai dire, il y a eu des questions auxquelles il ne s'attendait pas. Et puis, regardez avec moi si vous pouvez voir les drapeaux rouges se lever quand il est interrogé à propos de M. Epstein.
It was reported at that time that you had a number of meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, who, when you met him 10 years ago, he was convicted of soliciting prostitution from minors. What did you know about him when you were meeting with him, as you've said yourself, in the hopes of raising money?
You know, I had dinners with him. I regret doing that. He had relationships with people he said, would give to global health, which is a interest I have. Not nearly enough philanthropy goes in that direction. Those meetings were a mistake. They didn't result in what he purported, and I cut them off. That goes back a long time ago now. So there's nothing new on that.
It was reported that you continued to meet with him over several years, and that, in other words, a number of meetings. What did you do when you found out about his background?
Well, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so. In general, you always have to be careful, and I'm very proud of what we've done in philanthropy, very proud of the work of the foundation. That's what I get up every day and focus on.
Donc, vous l'avez vu vous-même, il dénie savoir qu'est-ce que Jeffrey Epstein faisait sur cette île. Et ensuite, ça finit l'entrevue avec quelque chose qui ressemble à une menace implicite qui dit « Eh bien, il est mort, il faut faire attention. » Et puis, c'est comme s'il est en train de dire à la personne qui l'a entrevue de faire attention de poser ces questions-là parce qu'elle pourrait en perdre la vie. Et puis, c'est exactement pourquoi j'ai commencé cette vidéo en disant que je mets ma vie sur la ligne en parlant de ce genre de choses. C'est parce que ce sont des gens très dangereux, très dangereux. Les Clinton ont la réputation de terminer les gens qui les dénoncent. Mais par exemple, je ne crains personne sauf mon créateur. Et je vous encourage à faire de même. Continuons.
Une vidéo scandaleuse et de communication tourne en ce moment sur YouTube. Cette vidéo a été réalisée par l'agence Biotex. Biotex est une agence ukrainienne de GPA. L'objectif pour cette agence, c'est de rassurer leurs clients sur la livraison de leur bébé. La réalité qui se cache derrière cette vidéo, c'est un trafic de petits êtres humains. L'agence Biotex présente ce qu'elle est en train de faire comme une mission de sauvetage. En réalité, ce qu'on voit dans la vidéo et ce que vous pouvez voir justement sur ces images, ce sont des petits bébés qui ont quelques heures, voire quelques jours, et qui sont transportés d'un point A à un point B. En fait, ils viennent d'être arrachés à leur mère porteuse, la femme qui les a portés pendant 9 mois, et ils sont emmenés dans un endroit sûr où ils sont mis en batterie. En fait, les lits sont à côté les uns des autres en attendant de pouvoir être livrés à leur commanditaire. On a vraiment l'impression, quand on voit ces images de lits alignés avec des tout petits bébés à l'intérieur des berceaux, on a l'impression d'être dans un entrepôt où les colis vont être expédiés. On assiste vraiment à une déshumanisation, à un trafic de petits bébés. Au XXIe siècle, dans un pays européen, on a la vision en fait d'un élevage d'enfants en batterie, et pour l'instant cela ne choque personne.
Donc, nous pouvons voir qu'il y a définitivement des élites qui sont derrière le trafic d'humains, pour être plus précis, le trafic d'enfants. Il y a des millions d'enfants qui sont capturés à travers le monde, des millions d'enfants qui meurent en se faisant violer, se faisant sacrifier même, sur des autels sataniques. S'il vous plaît, continuez à écouter cette vidéo et nous allons voir de quoi exactement est-ce que je parle quand je dis des enfants sacrifiés sur les autels sataniques.
We have been warning about secret tunnel systems involving prominent members of the global elite for years. Now evidence is emerging, linking the illegal tunnel systems found beneath Crown Heights in Brooklyn with Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and the Clinton Foundation. Disturbing video footage from New York City went viral earlier this week, revealing a small stained mattress being pulled from the tunnel that was discovered beneath a Crown Heights synagogue, where photographs show that, among other things, children's mattresses and high chairs were located in the underground lair. A riot broke out and a dozen men were arrested at the New York City synagogue. that serves as the headquarters of the Orthodox Jewish Chabad Lubavitch movement, when men tried to stop the NYPD and a team of construction workers from sealing off the illegal tunnel system dug beneath the building. While the media reported on elements of the story, they conveniently left out the parts that connect key members of the global elite to the ritual child abuse taking place. Mainstream media is determined to convince you that the tunnel system is purely innocent, and fact-checkers are forcing social media sites to delete viral threads exposing the secret tunnels to millions of people. There is just one problem for these charlatans. The people are waking up and demanding to know the truth. How's this for truth? The Chabad Lubavitch headquarters, with the tunnel system complete with bloodied small mattresses, books covered in blood, and children's high chairs, has close ties to Jeffrey Epstein and his child procurer, Ghislaine Maxwell. That's right, the synagogue, with a secret tunnel system underneath, also happens to be providing Jeffrey Epstein's child sex fixer with special privileges while she's in prison, ensuring she receives the very best kosher food, which is costlier, and various other benefits. According to the mainstream media, this is just a wild coincidence. The media also doesn't want you to know that the Chabad Lubavitch headquarters has been linked to child sex abuse for decades. Herschel Pecker, a senior member who designed the Chabad's world-famous menorah, admitted in 1991 to doing, in his words, things that shouldn't be done to a 5-year-old girl. This is probably a good time to mention that the Chabad Lubavitch synagogue is also linked to the Clinton Foundation, with the two organizations sharing a history of working on so-called projects together, which have been announced on both of their websites over the years. Of course, the fact that Chabad Lubavitch headquarters is connected to the Clinton Foundation, which is itself connected to convicted child stealers, including Laura Silsby, who was found guilty of trafficking children from Haiti, well, the mainstream media want you to know that these facts are also nothing more than a series of wild coincidences. Keep in mind that both Epstein and Maxwell are on the record claiming they helped to launch the Clinton Foundation. Can you see how the dots are starting to connect? 8 million children go missing in the world every single year, and many of them end up trafficked via secret networks into the hands of elite pedophiles who run the world. In 2024, we're starting to see the truth emerge. But to understand what's happening before our very eyes, it's important to understand the secret rituals that take place behind the curtain.
Adrenochrome, the rumored secret Illuminati drug. Technically, it's a chemical compound produced in the human body when adrenaline oxidizes. Adrenochrome is known to cause extreme hallucinations and feelings of empowerment and euphoria. How is the chemical extracted? A victim is terrorized, either being tortured or knowing they're going to be sacrificed, increasing the amount of adrenaline that is flowing through their body. They are then killed, and the adrenochrome is collected with a syringe from the base of the neck or spinal column. A human victim only produces around 10 cc's of adrenochrome, so once it's collected, the drug can be sold on the deep black market and corners of the dark web at exorbitant prices.
Adrenochrome is created by the pineal gland when a human is fearing for their life. It is said to stop the aging process or slow down the aging process. Until someone stops using it, then they rapidly age to the age that they should look, or worse. It's very popular in the elite Illuminati circles. The Cabal learned that children were the best extraction source for the highest potency adrenochrome. The younger, the better. As people get older, the concentration and the potency of the adrenochrome declines, and the more terrified a person was determined how potent the adrenochrome that their pineal gland created. It's probably the most expensive drug in the world, and very rare. Because it is so very expensive, only the richest people, celebrities, billionaires, can afford it.
Whether human or animal, blood sacrifice has long been part of the rituals of many cultures, and it was discovered that after consuming the fresh adrenaline-saturated blood of a terrified victim, participants would experience a type of high off of the adrenaline, which could include increased senses, hallucinations, and feelings of euphoria, sometimes assigning a supernatural causality to the effects. Eventually, the precise timing was worked out, so that the victim would be killed at the moment the maximum amount of adrenaline had been pumped into the body. This knowledge was passed down through secret societies, ancient mystery schools, and intergenerational satanic cults.
We need your help dismantling a 9,000-year-old paedophile cult. Adrenochrome farms are operating in the United States, trafficking in children with no birth certificates or international documents, who are sold to VIP elites for huge sums of money. These children do not have official documents, but they do have expiry dates of 2 to 4 years old, due to how often they are raped and abused, after which they're killed with impunity or ritually murdered, depending on the preference of their owners. In 2016, news broke out that a horrific snuff film involving Hillary Clinton was circulating on the dark web. Law enforcement officers have confirmed the tape is so nauseating, they can't bear to watch more than a few seconds. But don't take my word for it. This is all according to Robert David Steele, veteran of the US Marine Corps and a former CIA operations officer, who became one of the most well-placed whistleblowers in history when he blew the lid off the entire global paedophilia control system before a shocked judicial commission.
Let me say first off that this is a court of inquiry. It's not an adversarial court, it's a nonprofit educational event. And with enormous energy and intelligence, all of us have been brought together to try to bring out some of the aspects. So if I may, I have prepared an overview statement based on my work these many past weeks. And I want to just say that as a parent and as a patriot, I'm absolutely outraged by what we're allowing to happen to our children. Humanity is judged on how you treat the weakest member of the society. Let me say that although pedophilia, which says child love, has nothing to do with the abuse of children, these children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow. One of the reasons that the Falun Gong are so popular is because they're so healthy, so that you can harvest their body organs and get the very best. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. I have been a spy. I'm out from undercover. I'm under a lifetime secrecy agreement. I absolutely tell you without doubt, I have no secrets that I can remember. But I know the system. I've been a spy all over the world. I have created the Marine Corps Intelligence Command. I have trained intelligence and law enforcement representatives, over 8,000 of them from across 66 countries. They are all, without exception, good people trapped in a bad system. I have found in my research and preparation for this court and all of the work that will follow that most organizations that end up being used to prey on children, Oxfam is a recent example, all of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations, so that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children.
During an interview with Glamour magazine, Megan Fox let slip that she participates in gruesome Illuminati blood rituals with Illuminati puppet Machine Gun Kelly.
I guess drink each other's blood might mislead people, or like people are imagining us with like goblets and we're like Game of Thrones drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops. But yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only. It is used for a reason, and it is controlled, where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it. He's much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just like cut his chest open with broken glass and be like, take my soul. Let me bleed on you. That happens? It doesn't not happen, let me tell you. Maybe not exactly like that, but a version of that has happened many times.
Reporting on these satanic practices involving symbols, rituals, and sacrifices is ridiculed by the mainstream media. If you read the Washington Post, watch CNN, or listen to fact-checkers, the occult practices of elite paedophiles is not a problem. Secret tunnel systems are purely innocent, and those who talk about child trafficking are tinfoil hat-wearing kooks pushing fake news. Meet John Robertson. As a 16-year-old veteran of Hollywood feature film, television, and commercial production, Robertson has worked behind the scenes on all of the major studios and networks, including on projects for such notables as Spielberg, Bruckheimer, Silver, and Abrams, to name a few. Robertson also left that scene because he says it's crawling with predatory paedophiles.
Much of what is used in Hollywood today that would be considered Luciferian in nature really comes from a lot of the Druidic incantations, the Druidic witchcraft, the worship of Gaia, of Earth, in 9th and 10th century England. And prior to that, you can trace that through Kabbalistic witchcraft, Jewish mysticism, all the way back really to what was going on in Babylon. So I want people to understand that there's a distinct through line from the time that the Babylonians were sacrificing kids to Moloch in the temple at the top of the Tower of Babel, at the top of that construct, from the time that they attempted to slap God right in the face with that stuff, to Hollywood today. You could do an exhaustive study and find a distinct through line in the practice of witchcraft.
Evidence has emerged that the distinct through line also takes in global elites, including Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and the Clintons. And you can rest assured that those names are just the tip of the iceberg. At the highest levels of politics, finance, and entertainment industry, a shadowy cabal of paedophiles use their power to hide the sickening crimes they commit against children. There is a war going on, and the elite and their puppets in politics and entertainment are becoming more desperate by the day to crush anybody who exposes their agenda.
Quand on comprend ce que c'est que le nouvel ordre mondial, c'est en fait ce qu'on peut appeler Satan, c'est-à-dire qu'il y a tout. Il y a le viol, la pédophilie, la torture, la manipulation mentale, le trafic de drogue, l'argent.
Donc nous sommes arrivés à la fin de cette vidéo et puis chers frères et sœurs, j'ai travaillé aussi fort pour vous donner la production de cette vidéo pour vous éveiller. Parce que ce n'est pas en se rentrant la tête dans le sol que nous pouvons réveiller les gens. Ce n'est pas en ignorant un problème que le problème va se régler. Je suis conscient qu'en faisant cette vidéo, ce n'est pas nécessairement ça qui va régler ce problème, mais je le fais avec espoir que si ça peut toucher quelqu'un pour que cette personne puisse contribuer à la bonne cause ou même juste prier pour ses enfants, ce serait déjà une grande contribution. Je vous implore, chers frères et sœurs, de prier pour ces enfants qui sont pris dans un enfer sur terre et qui sont présentement esclaves des hommes mauvais sur la terre, désespérés pour avoir droit à quoi que ce soit qui ressemble une vie. Ils sont présentement privés des droits humains de base. Ils sont torturés pour mourir comme des chiens, comme des rats. Il faut faire quelque chose pour réverser et contre-attaquer ces élites qui pensent que parce qu'ils ont beaucoup de pouvoir, ils peuvent s'en tirer et qu'ils ne vont jamais avoir aucune conséquence pour leurs actions. Nous devons partager ce genre de message avec les gens clés qui ont de l'influence pour réveiller les gens, pour se débarrasser de ces cancers pour la société. Sur ce, chers frères et sœurs, je vous encourage à prier pour ces enfants avec moi, au nom de Yahushua HaMashiach, Jésus-Christ de Nazareth. Soyez bénis. À la prochaine.